Joining us right now is former Giuliani presidential campaign advisor and president of SOM Consulting, Evan Siegfried. Good to see you, Evan. Thanks so much for joining us. Give us your reaction to what the president said late last night.
Let's just be honest. The president doesn't get it with what's going on. In February, he said the cure to ISIS is jobs. And on Friday, he said they're contained. On Monday, everything's a setback. The president has no credibility when it comes to this. And it's just very disappointing that we don't have somebody in the White House who can protect us.
It's really scary.
Do you think there's a space here between him leaving and everything else where the Russians and many people in this world that would just as soon as kill us are going to take advantage of it?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I agree.
The president's focused on his legacy while everybody else is focused on what can we gain. You've got Putin looking to gain things. ISIS wants to do more than gain. They want to just eradicate everybody who isn't them. And it's just a very distressing and dangerous world we live in, and the president's not really focused on that.
Do you think somebody in the Republican Party can take over the foreign policy debate while Obama's in office, and who would that be?
Absolutely. I think Marco Rubio has a very good and sane approach to dealing with foreign policy. If you had looked at his plan for ISIS and used it several months ago, I mean, this is a little bit of Monday morning quarterbacking this, but I think that we would not be seeing such a strong organization at this point. His plan was not only to target them using special operations, bombing runs, but also target them economically. Hit them every way you can and do it in a rational way. And the president's was, again, jobs.
Is Hillary Clinton's foreign policy comparable to the president's now, given that she was Secretary of State, and part of his administration?
No, it's not comparable. It is the president's foreign policy. I mean,
you think people see it that way?
I think people will see it as just what they want to see it. Hillary Clinton, everybody has their preconceived notions about them. There are very few people who have no opinion of Hillary Clinton. Maybe she's out getting her donations from Wall Street because of terrorist attacks.
Do you think that some of the contradictions in what Trump has said before now, in the Fox Business debate moderated by Maria, Trump says, well, we need to rebuild our Defense Department and make it great again, but we should let Russia deal with ISIS, and we can't be the world's policeman. We need to spend on infrastructure. And now it's bomb ISIS.
Well, listen, Donald Trump, let's just be honest. If he were running for dog catcher, he wouldn't be qualified. But he went out in the debate with Maria, and he said, we should outsource getting rid of ISIS because let's let them fight it out over there. And then 3 days later, we have what happened in Paris.
Well, that's the president's strategy, is to be a marginal
And we all know
actor.
Donald Trump has embraced Democrats, including this president, up until he went on the birth certificate movement.
But doesn't this get just down to leadership and having a proactive plan? I mean, is that the difference between Trump, is that he keeps telling us that he has plans that I can't identify. Maria has struggled with finding his plans with some specificity as well, because there are no specifics. Whereas Rubio, I mean, is he stealth? Like this guy, people say, well, he's young. I mean, I think being young is a good thing. Is he stealth, hardcore foreign policy guy, or has he just had a good couple
Marco Rubio has the foreign policy experience. He's sat on the appropriate committees within the Senate. He's been around Washington and been around the generals without becoming too much of an insider as well. He understands what needs to be done. And that is something we need in a president. Unfortunately, our current president doesn't have those qualifications.
Well, really quickly, let me just ask you, in terms of, there is a follow-up to the Donald Trump, and unfortunately we didn't get to every question that we wanted to at the debate. But if Donald Trump constantly says, look, let Russia kill ISIS, what does that mean for Israel? Can you still have a program and a policy to support Israel, but let Russia and the Middle East fight it out?
Well, currently we don't really have a program supporting Israel, let's be honest.
Right.
But no, it's not really the best thing for Israel either. So
I mean, I think that is the follow-up, right? I mean, if the U.S. pulls back and just lets them deal with it, well, what happens to our friends who are counting on us too?
Well, and now what happens to Europe? Now what happens to the rest of the world in terms of the terror threat? Because that threat is no longer in the caliphate and in Syria and Iraq. It has arrived in Europe, and it will show up on our shores unless something's done about it.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head here. Everything in the world is very complex, as you've just pointed out. And you've got Trump saying very simplistic things. I'm going to bomb the heck out of ISIS. Well, I think there are people within government, especially in the Pentagon, who would love to do that. But that's not going to solve the problem itself. And that's not going to help Israel. That's just going to be dropping some bombs. And you still have to do things after that and go in, see who you got, and provide support troops, get in there with special operations forces. And right now, we're not doing that. We have 50 special ops forces and, 5 very well-funded, incompetent Syrian.
We just heard from Jocko. They need backup.
Yeah, big time.
Evan, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. We'll see you soon, Evan.